And I have a hard time. I got a list here. I have a hard time believing that lines like "he's inside of me and wants to take me again."
He's inside me.
That was not intentional.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
This is my boomstick!
Swallow this.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Arrow in the Head Show. I am Lance, and therefore, Mr. Arrow himself, you must be John. John,
Yeah.
good to see you, buddy. How you doing? You look like shit.
Oh, fuck you, man. No, I'm great. You know, I went to see Iron Maiden live in Anaheim, and that was fucking.
Oh yeah, nice. What
Yeah.
what do they close with? What's their closing song?
I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
Maybe one of the last ones with Iron Maiden itself, the Iron Maiden song where the giant Eddie comes out. But I don't remember if that was the closing. I think the Trooper was also one of them. But anyways, it was a fantastic show. Like for me, you know, and anybody that loves Iron Maiden, because Iron Maiden is a love band. It's a love or hate band. There's no like middle ground Maiden fans usually. Anybody that loves Iron Maiden, you know what I'm talking about. You know, an Iron Maiden shows a religious experience. You know, I've got my T-shirt right here.
Oh, nice.
And I felt purified after. Unfortunately, I got the COVID. I got the Rona. Oh my God! Iron Maiden came with a price. I've been a fucking mess for the last 4 days, but no way I'm gonna miss talking to your bald ass and you beautiful people out there. So here I am, braving it out.
Rocking out, fluids, take some naps. You know the whole.
Well, you know, it'll be interesting once we get to the drink section. You'll see. But
Okay. Well,
what about you? I heard there's a hurricane coming up your ass.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to hit tomorrow where I'm from. So I decided I'm leaning in because I chose to move here, and I am not the kind of guy that's like, it's like, no, fuck that, no more snow. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going through it, man. So I got my shirt on. I got my shades. I was going to wear a hat, but
You're gonna wear shades for the show.
well, yeah. I mean, what if I don't have a house tomorrow? This is it. This is the last minute. You know, I'm leaning
He's
into
in Florida, by the way. You know, no, you're looking good. Actually, you're looking good. I like the look.
All right. Well, I guess let's get in the brass tacks, buddy. What are you drinking?
Well, it's a complicated equation today because of Mr. COVID up my ass. First of all, I got the cheap version of Dayquil,
Yeah, I like. Yeah, I'm a Dayquil guy if I get sick. So
Red Bull.
sugar free. I respect that. Cavities.
I don't know why that killed me, but it did. And you know, of Coors Light.
Okay. All right. So hold on. Let me. I gotta map this out myself. The Dayquil is to keep you decongested and feeling decent.
Yeah.
The Red Bull is to, I'm assuming, pop you up because you're sick.
Yeah.
And the Coors Light is a tiny bit of alcohol because it's clearly mostly water. It probably gives you a nice little buzz mixed with the Red Bull and the Dayquil, correct?
Right. Coors. What about you?
Well, I've been stocking up. We got a bunch of water, bread, banana, peanut butter, all that good stuff. So I bought a bottle of vodka because I'm assuming, I don't know, vodka could be mixed with what I have. And I got those Trulias. I don't know. They're like the sugar-free, fruity drinks. They're really good if you're like outside mowing the lawn. So I just put some vodka and some Trulia, put in this cool little glass my buddy Howard made, and figured it's drop one off. It fits the theme, you know, that and plus the storm. So,
All right. Well, you know, let me pour my beer in my Flaming Moe's cup.
Oh, nice. You got that from Universal, correct?
Yeah, and that's a shit pour, but it's Coors Light, it's shit beer. So there you go. All works out. Sorry, Coors, but it's piss. All right. Well, cheers, Lance. I hope you make it through the hurricane. Cheers, all of you. Thank you.
Make it through
for,
COVID, buddy.
coming back and finding the new channel and listening to us ramble. I really appreciate it. So, cheers.
Hello, my friend!
Nightmare on Elm Street 2, directed by Jack Shoulder. if I'm saying that correctly. Good guy. This was the weird kind of turnaround. They couldn't get Craven. He kind of moved on. And so they sort of changed everything. And I would argue that we're talking about a sequel that is probably the true black sheep of the series, because it is the complete opposite of everything the first one was.
Mm-hmm. After the first one, they didn't know what they had. They didn't think it was going to pop. They thought it was going to be a one-off. And then it made money. So, of course, they went for a sequel. And they didn't think after the sequel to be a part 3 and a part 4 and part 5. It's actually part 2, which wound up making more money than part 1. That where Bob Shea was like, cha-ching, okay, I got a fucking franchise now. You know, nobody knew how Freddy would evolve. The fact that it did the opposite, the fact that it really became a possession movie, I find very interesting. And watching it, I watched it again. Sorry, I keep burping, guys. I'm sorry. Aline, whoever the fuck that is. For me, watching it again recently, I found it really, really cool, man. I actually really enjoyed it way more than I did in the past.
This is a good entry that I always go back and forth with, but I always want to start with this, and I've said it in a lot of our Freddy videos, so I'll make it quick. There's not a bad Freddy movie, just for the simple fact that they're always interesting, even if they don't work.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes, there's never a boring entry, and again, that doesn't. We're not counting the remake. I'm talking the original through New Nightmare. They're always in some way interesting, and this is a great example. As a kid, I rented it a lot, and I always love the cover. It's that like he's like facing it. There's like the blue on the side. It looks like he's ripping through. I always felt it was weird. It was always kind of uncomfortable. It makes more sense now that I'm older as I've rewatched it. I think I like it more in this last viewing because it is so bizarre in terms of number 1 and 3. Like I think where this sits is fascinating. I don't know if I would have loved it when it came out. Honestly, I don't know. I can't say that. I am definitely looking at it through the catalog Bowie effect, where like I have all of them to look through. So I don't have any personal history, you know, like there's always that thing. If you go to the theater and you see something like this, or like you said for Freddy's Dead, yeah, maybe you tell me you went to the theater. Like I understand how that can affect it. For me, I've never had that. So I think I'm more interested in how tonally weird it is compared to everything else. Sitting between 1 and 3, I find this one to be impressive that it was made, but like you said, they didn't know. This was kind of just like throwing a dart at a board kind of thing, and it's like they never went back to it. It's the only one that's not really referenced in the chronological story, because it's like 1, then Nancy comes back for 3, and that's part 2 actually, and then it goes to 4, 5, and then 6 is sort of a weird entity also. So this is that lone entry, man.
With this movie, there's a lot of angles we could take it on. Let's just start, with what we appreciated about it. And if you don't mind, Top Gun. I shall begin first.
I was gonna say, I just saw the new one not too long ago. I love it, but I realize it's a classic. Yeah, it is. That's great. Tom Cruise is an actual movie star. That's why.
No frills, all American, no bullshit, no agenda, just
straight
people in fucking planes.
Yes,
this fun cheese, man. But anyways, Elm Street 2, the tone, number 1, I loved. It was still dark. It was still oppressive. Shoulders and his DP's camera work, I thought was really good. I don't know if you remember the scene where Jesse goes into the basement of the house and he finds the glove, and it becomes like a POV shot up the stairs, and winds up in the little sister's room.
Wake up, little girl.
And the little girl wakes up, then it reverses, and it's Jesse, he has the glove on, he's going to kill his sister, influenced by Freddy. I thought the camera work was great. Freddy was fucking creepy as fuck. It's probably my favorite Freddy look.
Yes, absolutely.
Kevin Yeager actually took over from, God, what was his name? The dude that did the look, David something, no?
I don't remember the guy from the first
Anyways,
one. Because I always think, his looks are better later on.
Yeah.
I like 2's look. I like 3's look, actually,
2 had a bit of a witch look. Like the nose was a bit more crooked.
The brow bone is more defined. His eyes are sunken in. Yeah, he's creepier. His teeth are more jacked. I don't know.
Freddy is more aggressive. He's more. He's not. He's not in part 3. He's funnier, but here he's still scary. He gave me the fucking creeps when I first saw it in whatever year this was released. I forget. The score by Christopher Young, I thought was fucking amazing, especially the which I fucking love. The performances were really strong, I thought. Mark Patton as the lead, as Jesse. I know he had his own shit going on, and he was a gay man in real life, but in the closet. At that time in Hollywood, it wasn't as, acceptable, I guess. Yeah.
No,
the movie itself is filled with, homosexual overtones. And there's one scene where he totally, after Grady dies, and he kills Grady, and he meets up with the girl Elisa, played by Kim Mayers, and he just breaks down, man. I killed Grady, he's filled with blood.
I got blood on my hands.
And the entire role, he has a vulnerability that I thought was really affecting. I thought he's fucking amazing in the movie, and it's a shame that movie chased him out of Hollywood. Like, he left Hollywood after that movie, but that's another convo. Yeah, but he was fucking amazing. Kim Mayer's amazing, who looked like Meryl Streep, which is why she was cast.
Yeah. I even watching this, I was like, man, she would done perfect as Meryl Streep. Yeah. I mean, wow.
And I love this Robert Russler.
The jock friend, right?
Yeah, the guy from Weird Science. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was fucking amazing. Fuck, man, I could go on and on. The opening in the bus.
What I appreciate about the later movies, and why I appreciate the early movies, is how they tackle dream sequences.
Yeah.
Something that I found really interesting is, like, this one didn't really have any. I mean, there's a couple.
Well, the bus is a dream sequence.
Yes, but that sets off the movie, and the rest of it's more possession. It's not they're in a dream. It's essentially he's viewing things from a different perspective, but it's not a dream. It's happening in the real world. And I think it's an interesting approach. When I was a kid, the bus scene fucked with me more. There's the things that scared me were not typical. Like, I remember really liking Pennywise as a little kid, but never got scared from him. But the bus scene in this kind of fucks with me. And watching it now, it's such a cool practical miniature effect where it's on the little pillars, and you just drive in, like, they're all like, sir, we gotta stop. But it's cool that they start off with a dream sequence, and a wild one at that. And it continues with the dream sequence aesthetic from part one, which is they play it real until something triggers you off. Whereas in the later entries, what I also liked is that they did the reverse, which is it starts off weird and colorful, wacky, and you're like, oh, I'm in a dream right away.
Yeah.
It was a good progression, because clearly, like, you can't keep pulling we're in reality. Oh no, we're not. Like, you get bored. So just comment the later entries of doing something different. But in this, I like that idea. I like that he's possessed, even if it doesn't work. And I was trying to think, like, I don't really get how this continues from the first. Like, they have Nancy's diary, and there's one point where Nancy says, I brought him out of the real world in the diary.
He is evil itself. I know now that I brought him into my world. We all did. Gave him all the energy he needed, our screams.
And so I guess my question to you is, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is the way it continues from the first one, is she brought Freddy in the real world, didn't really kill him, and now he needs possessed kids. Is that the angle? Because I don't really understand how this connects. I mean, I don't know if they do as well, but just as a fan, I was like, okay.
I never perceived it that way. I always perceived it because they're in the Elm Street house.
So it's like a haunting incident.
Yeah, it's like a haunting, and his spirit's still around and possesses Jesse, and that's it. And the diary is basically the connector between part one and part two.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure Wes Craven was offered to direct it, and he turned it down because he didn't like the script. And I think actually, if I remember correctly, he did have maybe did a polish or had his hands in the script early on, but then fucked off. Nobody expected Freddy to become a phenomenon. And nobody expected part one to do as well. And definitely nobody expected part two to do even better than part one. I'm not sure about the details, but I know that Craven wasn't set up contract-wise to capitalize on that money, which is why, Shea brought him back on 3 to try to do good, which is why Craven tried to redo Freddy again with, covering his ass contract-wise with Shocker for Universal. But there was bad blood between 1 and 3. There was bad blood between Mr. Craven and Newline. I guess we can't fucking talk about this movie without talking about the gay overtones. It's funny because the movie came out at the time where the AIDS thing, epidemic, panic, whatever you want to call it, was really flourishing. And in North America, people, audiences, critics, some critics did, but for the most part, nobody really picked up on the gay overtones, undertones. For me, they're overtones, but you could say undertones. I don't give two fucks. But in Europe, they did. And Europe has always been a bit more open-minded, a bit more libertin, if you will. And they fucking loved the movie for it. They loved it. They loved the movie for it. One of the reasons why it made so much fucking money. And, there's been a lot of controversy over the years. Was it intentional on the part of the screenwriter? Was it intentional on the part of Jack Shoulder? I'm not going to get in other people's fucking drama, man. But, for me, what I know is that the production designer was gay. So, the no girls allowed sign on his door, that's a production designer. The game of probe in the closet, that's a production designer. And I have a hard time, I got a list here. I have a hard time believing that lines like, he's inside of me and wants to take me again.
He's inside me.
That was not intentional. The coach, God bless that motherfucker, man. The coach.
I love the coach. Yeah, it was.
When he gets, and Freddy's whipping that ass with a towel. Of course, he's an S&M guy. Actually, let's just take the coach, because the coach is fascinating. I got to fucking talk about this shit. So the coach obviously is an S&M, gay dude. All good. Who gives a shit? He catches Jesse at the bar. Jesse goes to the bar to get a drink. Man needs to relax, yeah.
Man's got to relax.
Whatever. Coach shows up in leather, no, you're not going to have that drink. How's this the coach's fucking business?
Yeah.
Why
Does he
can't
take that
Jesse
to
have a
school?
fucking drink, man? He's out of school, man. So cut to, the coach makes him run laps.
In the school in the middle of the night, though.
In the school.
That means they went to the school, it's closed. Opened it up, turned out the alarm,
That makes
turned
no
down the
fucking
lights.
sense.
Yeah.
And then we get to the gay stuff. So then the coach is alone, in his shit. And stuff starts moving by itself. And he gets attacked by balls.
Yes.
By little balls, big balls. He gets attacked by all kinds of balls. Balls in his face, the whole shebang. And I was watching the movie again. I'm like, you know what? This guy is really not impressed by the fact that a bunch of balls are being thrown in his fucking face. He's keeping his fucking cool. He's keeping his fucking... Do you notice that? He's totally chill about it. I'd be like, if things are moving by themselves and balls are flying in my face... I can make here, but I'm not going to make them.
The coach is a tough guy. The coach is a tough guy.
Dude, man, number one, I'm out the fucking door. That's number one. I'm out the fucking door.
The coach has seen some shit. I don't know. No.
Not this motherfucker. He sticks around, all these balls and all that. And, he gets tied by the fucking thingos, jump ropes. He gets dragged into the shower, and then he gets stripped naked. And ta-tow.
Makes the kid shower. I mean, why was the kid not like, I did the laps. This is fucking weird. I'm good. It's like, hit the showers. And I'm like, no, we're done. Like, why I got to get nude? I mean, this coach is all about hitting the showers. His fucking main purpose is hit the showers. He does like 40 times.
Hit the shower.
And I was thinking, like, dude, I was in high school. We had a north building to south building. It took like 15 minutes to walk between the two. Like, I never showered ever at school because you had to get back to class. And I mean, of course, it's at night, but in the day, the coach is like, hit the showers, hit the showers. It's like, oh, whoa. Now in the middle of the night, he's like, hit the showers. It's like, and he does. He's like fucking lathering up. He's like, doing a good, like, not just like rinsing off real quick and drying off. He's like having a nice shower. So then, the coach gets dragged in, and Jesse doesn't freak out either. Jesse's just like,
he's getting off on it. I wrote that down. Like, he's looking at it like he's getting off on it. Yeah, dude. They played. We didn't talk about this, but they play the scene where Jesse does his risky business like thing.
Yeah, where the scene that
all night long
shows the hand is what I said. That like that's it.
Yeah. With the the desk.
Yeah, like pops.
It pops.
He pops. Yeah,
they play that shit in gay clubs, man. So that the community took that movie and embraced it, and that's fucking amazing. All the power to them. But my point is, you can't do a fucking scene where you drag an S&M gay coach into a fucking shower, whip his fucking ass, while the lead character looks at it, kind of looking like he's getting off on it, and not tell me that was not intentional. Not tell me, oh, but we didn't know there was homosexual undertones in this scene. Really, dude? Really? You didn't know there was homosexual? Are you fucking stupid? The fucking coach being attacked by balls.
But isn't the part of the controversy of this movie is that at the time the writer denied it, and then once it became fashionable, cool to like.
He kind of admitted to it.
Yeah. So, and then there's a whole documentary with Patton where like essentially he confronts him because he's like, you denied it. You
Scream Queen.
It's really good because essentially he's like, I went to Mexico, lived my life, fucking, I don't care. And then he watched the documentary Never Sleep Again, which is one of my favorite documentaries because it gets deep in every movie, and I love that sort of expansiveness. Even the sequels that people don't like, I'm all about. I don't want to skip. I want you to dig in the first one as much as you're going to dig in the sixth one. And I guess he saw that, and the writer was like, "Oh, it was intentional, ha ha ha."
Yeah,
and
but
even
if you
But I'm saying, but it was clear it was. But
even if I'm directing this scene, I'd be like, dude. Yeah, it's all good. I'm doing a gay Freddy. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm doing a gay Freddy. I'm aware of it.
Jack wasn't the director was aware of it.
No, I didn't get there were undertones. Really, dude? You're whipping a guy's ass, bro. A dude from a gay S&M club, and you're whipping his ass.
But it's hard to argue this because it was the 80s, so like I don't trust anybody telling the truth, you know? It's one of those things. It's like now, it's like if there's a certain opinion that doesn't work, you got to pretend you don't have it. So I don't know I don't know the truth because whatever they said.
I know the truth. There's no fucking what, dude.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Everybody was yes.
Okay, I'm gonna chill out.
Everybody knew. Absolutely. The question is to what level, you know? I do think there was
second, you're directing a scene.
Getting your ass whipped.
Gay coach out of an S&M club getting fucking tied up with his fucking very fit butt cheeks, by the way, for a man his age, I must say.
Oh, he's a coach.
Butt cheeks being fucking whipped with a towel, and you're trying to tell me I didn't get those gay undertones. Go fuck yourself. You're full of shit.
I like the idea that Bob Shea didn't know. I mean, supposedly.
Oh yeah, well, fuck him. You know, man, come on, dude. Everybody knew, dude. Everybody knew. And actually, there's one thing I saw, like an interview with Patton, and I'm paraphrasing here, so
of course.
But it was something along the lines where he was uncomfortable with it because he wanted to be like Johnny Depp. You know, he was in the closet. He didn't want to come out, but everybody was making this movie gay, and they were like, there was one suggestion at a certain point, and he refused to do it. Where Freddy, you got the body, I got the brain, and Freddy kind of caresses. Yeah. But Freddy caresses his face, and I'm not sure if it was. I'm pretty sure it was the director or Bob Shea suggested Freddy put his blade in his mouth. Yeah, and Patton said, "No, man, I'm not doing that shit." So the creative force around Patton knew what they were doing, and they wanted to double down. And him, because he was in the closet, this is the way I'm understanding it from the interviews I read. The time that they were living in the 80s, he didn't want that. He didn't want like a big fucking finger, you know, pointed at him. And that's what the movie did. And that's why he fucked off. He was like, man, fuck this shit, man, I'm out. So, you know, we could talk about this till the cows come home to become burgers, but we didn't know we were doing homoerotic horror movie is my answer to that. With all due respect, go fuck yourself.
But I also think it's the film's strength is because it adds this sort of interesting layer. Like I said earlier, it does the opposite. You know, gay stuff or not, like the entire story is essentially contradicting everything from the first. I mean, it's such a weird movie to do.
Great effects. You know, let's not forget two things I want to mention.
Yeah, Yeager's awesome.
Number one, and that was Mark Schulstrom. The guy that did the creature for Deep Star 6. He did the Freddy coming out of Jesse, which is fucking amazing, dude. Yeah, great. You know, that's like fucking American Werewolf in London level in terms of fucking, you know, practical effect gag, you know, with the blades coming out of his fingers, the skin ripping, and you're seeing Freddy's sweater underneath, and, you know,
it's
the
mouth,
highlight.
It's the big effects, yeah.
It's fucking amazing. You know, of course, Grady's kill is very underwhelming. And I saw an interview with Rustler who, you know, they were running out of time. You know, it was like, well, that's it. You know, that's it. That's how I die. That's it. You know, the claws through the door. You know, Grady, the claws through the door, and that's it. That scene is fucking powerful for me, man. It's a ripper. You know, like I keep calling them. It's a fucking visceral scene. And another scene that stands out for me for the wrong and the right reasons is, come on, we gotta fucking talk about it. The pool scene when Freddy comes and these kids and. I mean, it's a weird fucking scene, dude. I mean, it's Freddy surrounded by people. They're all seeing him, and he's flipping lawn chairs like a fucking clown.
Well, that whole lead up, though, I think that I like that scene in a vacuum, and I like it viewing it from afar. But it's actually a terrible scene for the character because you see, like, he's fighting with Lisa, and he grabs her.
And she's owning his ass.
Yeah. I mean,
but then
it's
again,
the same-
Nancy owned his ass in the last act of Elm Street. So
no, but it's not so much owning it. It's just, to me, how it was filmed. It shows too much. Like Nancy, a lot of it is in the dark. But even I would argue, if I had any complaints about the first movie, I should say, is that when Nancy's kicking his ass, they're showing Freddy in too much movement. Like I think part 3 was better at like kind of showing him in movement. This made him made Robert Englund seem small. It made him seem like physically small. Like, you know, they showed him in a way that he just kind of seemed the same height and build, if not smaller than most of the kids, you know, the 30-year-olds playing 15-year-olds. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool scene if you kind of want to have fun, but it's a terrible scene for Freddy. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's
because even Wes Craven actually pointed that scene out somewhere.
In the documentary, he's like, he goes, "You showed him too much."
Yeah. But come on, you gotta love that scene, and it actually broke my heart because I realized something new I never realized before. When this guy's trying to appeal to Freddy, he's like, "Hey man, it's all right, dude. You know, we're here to help, you know." And he grabs him, "Help yourself, fucker." And that's an ADR line. I never noticed that before.
Help yourself, fucker!
Yeah, because that's then the fire's behind him. It's that cool.
Exactly.
It's a really good
You're on my
scene.
children now,
Yeah.
But that's an ADR line. For me in my head, I always remembered Freddy said it. "Help yourself, fucker." No, he doesn't. It's full on ADR off screen.
I feel like I notice more of that as the older I get. You know, the more I pay attention to like movies in terms of technical effects. But I mean, that part's cool just because it's a cool visual. He's backlit with a fire. I mean, I always liked it. But you're right. Then he just kind of remember he like walks off.
Yeah.
And they all move.
Fire. Yeah. Everybody's. Yeah.
I mean, it's
his expression when the dad tries to shoot and Lisa puts a gun down and he looks at her like, I always laughed at that fucking expression. I don't know why. Which brings me to the worst part of the film, in my opinion, is the last act. You have these dogs with these fucking ridiculous masks, and then isn't there a cat and a rat, or I don't fucking know. But yeah, it was underwhelming. And I think if I remember correctly, they didn't have much time and they didn't have much money left. You know, they found this foundry or factory, whatever. Fuck.
Look, the factory is fine. I mean, they kind of use that kind of set in later movies, but it just didn't. At that point, it's like, well, it doesn't matter because that made more sense in the dream world, I thought. And then they found the physical one. It's just, and it has nothing to do with Freddy. It's just like it's a possession movie. So who gives a shit about a boiler room?
Well, then where else would he go? You know, if he's now in the real world, where else would he go? He'd go home, right?
Yeah, I guess, but it's just that's lame. I don't know. It doesn't work here.
No, I'm saying it's lame. Yeah, it is lame. And the ending too in the bus, you know, everything's gonna be fine. You know, that's lame too. You know, it's like a play on the ending. The effect's not too convincing. There's no blood. It's kind of like a redo of the ending of part 1, but lamer. But overall, man, I don't think. I know the movie has caught on, you know, since, you know, society has changed and the gay community is, you know, become, you know, accepted, you know, by everyone, you know, for the most part. But put all that aside, I think it's a dark, bold, mean-spirited film with some great camera work, some great performance. Yeah, it broke all the rules of the first one. And that's why I personally find it very interesting. I know a lot of people don't like the movie, but I'm a fan, man. I like it, and Freddy was still scary. Like, I think it's the last time Freddy was really scary. Maybe Wes Craven's New Nightmare, but
I think he's in part 2 less than he is the first one. I think he has more screen time.
I think so too. Yeah.
Which I think is also a pretty ballsy move. You know, usually the sequel you show the monster more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But you know, you had good characters and good actors, and so for me, I just like the film. I like the film for what it is, for everything that it is. Faults in tow, I dig it, and I do like the fact that it got a new life through our society changing. You know, the fact that they play, again, you know, I said it before, but the fact that they play the unpacking scene, you know, love me, baby, boop, you know, in gay clubs. It's kind of fucking awesome, dude. You know, that's cool, man. That you know that the gay community embraced that film and you know made it one of their tentpole films, I guess. You know, so all good, man.
Yeah,
What about you, man? Where does it stand in Lance? Where are your shades, by the way? What happened?
I took them off
Why?
because it felt appropriate for the conversation at this point. You know, it structures the video, and I take them off. Now I'm going to have my closing remarks. You know, I've always liked it in some way. I've never disliked it because when I was a kid, I thought it was weird, and I always liked weird stuff. Always, it's always been my go-to. I mean, you know, there's weirder stuff out there that people could probably checkmate me on, but I've always liked a little strange. And then I'm older, and like I could see a lot of like the overtones, undertones, all that stuff. I respect it for being weirder on that end, or at least, you know, interesting. Like I said, I mean, I know you're a little older, so you might get this reference because I know some people will. Super Mario Brothers came out, the original one, right? You jumped on little Koopas and they popped.
Yeah.
Great fucking game.
Yeah.
And then part 2 came out, and it literally took all the rules of the first one and changed them. I think it was because it was a different game at first. But then everything about Super Mario Brothers 2 was the opposite of the first one. And so it's this weird little game that on its own is so cool. But if you love the first one, it's kind of hard to get into. And then Super Mario Brothers 3 came back, like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, took the first one, amped it up, and made it cooler and more actiony and more adventurous, and you got it. So I kind of look at this like the Super Mario Brothers. I think part 2 is great on its own. It's not the one I revisit a lot, but I think it's my favorite Freddy look, absolutely. I think the directing's great. Performances are fine. I think they all do well. I always think that the 80s just had an overacting kind of vibe, but that's the 80s, and that's why I like them. Yeager is one of my favorite effects artists, and so I think his work was awesome. It's weird, man. It's a weird film, and I dig it for being weird. Whether it fits as a Freddy film, I could see people making good argument that it doesn't, but I think that's also why I like it, is because it is this weird entity that is in between 1 and 3, and 1 and 3 connect with 4, 5, and 6, and 2 is just its own little thing. It sits right there. Yeah. And as I get older, I really appreciate these odd black sheep films. It's done well, and I think this one did great. Shoulder's great, Patton's great.
I would say I'll take a movie that, no pun intended, has balls and goes outside the box and tries things, and fails half the time or whatever, over a movie that plays it 1,000,000% safe and is generic and just goes by the numbers. And I think Elm Street 2, they took a lot of chances, more because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. But
however they get there, they get there. I don't care how they get it, but they got there, and you're right.
Exactly. And you know, and I think it makes for an interesting film, and not a perfect film. You know, it does feel a bit disjointed. The last 15-20 minutes are subpar. I mean, after the pool sequence, you know, film kind of goes downhill, in my opinion. But on the whole, yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. And it's Freddy's still creepy. Freddy's still a fucking, hey, he's pissed off Freddy in this one. I like that.
I said in an earlier video, and I'll say it again, I'd rather you fail with heart than succeed with mediocrity. And that's how I look at this film. It had heart. It tried. It went in a direction that, again, is the direction that it should have gone in, but it went full steam and it went all in. And I'll always love that. Because there's other Freddy entries that I do love that I think played a little too damn safe. Yeah. And didn't have the heart that this one did. And, you know, and again, now we can look at it. We can look at it with all this time passed and kind of pick it apart and enjoy it. And like you said earlier, I love that the community has this film. That's awesome, dude. Dude, you let Critters 2 in theaters. I'm there with popcorn and a bottle of rum. Like, yeah, I love that people have their movies, you know, that's awesome. Yeah. Whatever your midnight movie is, man, rock it out. The fact that people get one is all I want in the world. I want to go to the music box. I want to watch a cool dorky movie, and I want to have a good time. That's a goal, man. So if this one's yours, that's awesome.
Have a blast. Exactly. So guys, thank you for showing up and putting up with my sick ass. What do you think of Nightmare on Elm Street 2? Love it? Hate it? Where does it stand in your Freddy, I guess, list or countdown or whatever?
Ranking. What's your ranking?
Yeah, ranking. There you go. So spit the comments below. Let us know. What else are we supposed to say at the end of a show like this? Oh,
help us
subscribe. All that crap.
That stuff. Yeah, I got 4 sure.
Tell your friends. Tell your mistresses. Tell your lovers. You know, come subscribe. We need you over here. And that's it. Thank you. And look, it's fucking Halloween coming up, October. So Lance and I have some interesting picks lined up for you guys. So
I'm excited. So this is my Christmas. So I'm all about it. I got the setup.
Yeah, no,
I've been decorating for Halloween, man. I'm all for it. I mean, bearing that I have a house tomorrow. But yeah, man, I'm excited.
Well, Godspeed, brother. Nice seeing you again.
I'm out of a drink, but yeah, to all of our friends.
To all our friends. Later, bro.